But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about a few select characters rather than do a full move list breakdown for all the characters. Obviously, if you have a particular YouTuber or Twitch player who likes, it has a character specialist, go ahead, view that person's information. Go to their YouTube, go to their Twitch, see what they already said. But for the most part, you don't want to go to someone's stream and watch like 3 hours of change logs, especially for season 3, where there appears to be quite a few of them. But like I said, focus on the big guys there. So if you have someone who's like a drag specialist, well, I guess you're in the right place. But a Devil Jin specialist, go ahead and see what they think about Devil Jin and stuff like that. But I will focus on a few key ones, and maybe I'll do a quick overview for my tweet from earlier. But like I said, for now we're gonna go ahead and focus on Gigas and why Gigas may be terrible, why he may be good. Right now, I think there's a lot of, just like Season 2 actually, you can go ahead and watch my footage from the Season 2 change log for Gigas when I had first talked about him. Basically, everything we predicted came true in a good way. He is still not really noteworthy. Nothing great stands out with him. He definitely still has the best 10 in the game. And as expected, no one is using 110 or 1.2, A, because no one plays Gigas, and B, it's very quick and hard to punish, especially if you use it as a raw poke. It's something I typically call a sudden strike attack. One day I'll come out with my actual full Tekken guide, but for now I call these sudden strike attacks. Basically, instant hit attacks with a fairly quick follow-up. Obviously at ±17 for 1-2, it's easier to punish, but yeah, just like Jinpachi down back 1-2. It's launch punishable, but you still have to be on the ball if they do it randomly. So let's talk about Gigas changes here. So Gigas had, unfortunately, not a lot of changes. It's a little bit disheartening, to be honest. We were talking earlier on both Twitter, on Twitch, about the changes to the character. Overall, I would say Gigas did get passed up for quite a few things, especially if you compare his change log versus, hell, even Fang. I would say Fang got buffed, but he wouldn't be at the point where of ludicrousness, let's just say, or absurdity. But yeah, it's weird that Gigas, who is definitely a low tier character, got kind of passed up. Makes me think that, Namco doesn't really want Gigas in the game. They've kind of shown that with the numerous Mardic buffs that he's getting in Season 3. We'll probably talk about those later. But as of right now, Gigas kind of got hit hard. With that being said, I don't think Season 3 Gigas will be nearly as bad as people think. And we'll quickly go through it. Overall, it seems like Gigas in Season 3 will be very heavy. He'll remain very poke heavy, invisible pokes, but he'll also have a little bit of frame traps and frame advantage one direction or the other. So let's talk about the brief changes. One that's often skipped right away is basically 2-1. So 2-1 was buffed in Season 2 to be a jailing attack. Unlike Mardic 2-1, which does not jail, 2-1 basically is a 10-frame Punisher, hitting 3+4, transitions into Goal. From Goal, you have kind of limited options, and that's one of the major problems. And luckily, in Season 3, they'll be giving Gigas a Goal grab, which we'll see. I'll talk about that in a little bit because that's the last change. But 2-1 going from -7 to -6 is a huge deal. And that is because at -6, Duck Jab is actually an option. So a huge misconception with the game is that you can be at like -9 and then just Duck Jab. So let's see what happens when we try to do a simple Duck Jab. Okay, so keep in mind 2-1 is -7. And I'm going to go ahead and do a high attack. Counter hit. Counter hit. It's because there are basically something called crush frames in the game. And to crush an attack with a standard low or high crush option, like the quickest high crush options, are something called CS4. CS basically stands for crouching state. 4 means on the 4th frame it crushes. So if you take -7 plus 10 is basically 4. Or it's 11, my apologies. So it's 11. So 7 plus 4 is 11. But, okay, so you see how we do this. So Gigas has a 10 frame jab, right? We're beating him. So we'll switch over to Jack, who has both a 10 frame and an 11 frame, and we'll see the big difference. So keep in mind, what we'll be simulating now will be the change of Gigas 2-1, going from what it is now to what it is future. So 2-1, duck jab. So again, 2-1, 4-2, 1 second, 2-1, 4-2, counter hit, knockdown. His standing 2 hits on 11, and he crushes us. So it crushes on the 4th frame. This is an 11 frame jab. So we clean get beat. Not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. But with the duck jab option being down there, and I'm sorry, Jack kind of doesn't really have a generic duck jab. He has special full crouch attacks, varying on how direction you hold, what state you're in. They can kind of change. But overall, this might be the start of some gimmicky stuff. So 2-1 into -6 rather than -7 is definitely noteworthy. Second reason it's noteworthy is that 2-1 goal 1 cannot be interrupted, even by 10 frame. I'm sorry, I gotta do 4-2. My apologies. So it cannot be interrupted on hit. So if you use 2-1 as a punish, and you know, for instance, once again, it is a punish and there's no option there, you can do 2-1, and if you think they're going to hit a button, you go for, once again, you go for goal 1. The problem is that goal 1 is the only option that really, truly interrupts here. So if we go ahead and try doing 2-1, goal 2, on hit, we can interrupt it with a 10. And unfortunately, we can also interrupt it with an 11. Which is a shame. A damn shame. Now, there's no reason currently to believe that 2-1 for Gigas, 2-1 goal will actually transition for the 2 to be uninterruptible. But talking about his now having a 2-1 command option for the grab, and using the standard frame data of basically command grabs hit on 11. I don't know for a fact, so don't 100% quote me on this, but command grabs typically hit on 11 frames. So there are a few exceptions. Giant swing for king comes into play immediately, or into mind immediately. But what this really means, the 2-1 frame advantage change, likely will mean that 2-1 into the goal grab will be uninterruptible. So think about that. So 2-1 on hit, 1+2, or the grab. They cannot hit a button. You'll grab them. It doesn't mean they can't escape it, but keep in mind 2-1 into goal 1+2 on hit will be uninterruptible. Now, once again, speculation. 2-1 goal 2 may be uninterruptible. I don't believe so, simply because we're beating them clean by 1 frame currently. But you never know. There could be a ninja buff. And it actually comes down to it, since we're talking about goal 2, that 2-1 goal 2 will now be a wall bounce attack. Obviously, that's a huge change. Right now, he currently has somewhat limited options. Down 1+2 is probably the most noteworthy one, because this is his only good, well, not his only good power crush, but it's a power crush that they had added that also added the wall bounce signifier into it. So it's not bad, -13, good range, it's pretty damn good. Let's see, I think it's even like this far. Yeah, he takes a huge step forward before doing the power crush. So just keep in mind now with goal 2 causing wall bounce, that will be a whole nother chestnut. So that's something really important to notice. Down forward 2-1 basically is now -3, or it's 3 frames quicker to recover. That will likely mean better wall options, better carry options. Also, it means down forward 2-1 after a long combo will be easier for you to run up and do down forward 1+2. For people who are unaware, down forward 1+2 is launch punishable. Down forward 1+2 is also launch punishable. So if you ever do not get the perfect deep dash in, you die against someone who knows what they're doing. To be fair, it is a little bit rarer, But there are plenty of good players who do know Gigas simply because his move list is effectively non-existent. I don't really want to talk about down forward 4 because here's the problem. They do have a couple of frame or typos. They say down forward 1-4 is cannot be reversed. Down forward 4-4, which is presumably just down forward 4 or down forward 1+2. But down forward 1+2 is a headbutt, so it doesn't really matter. No, it's okay. It's okay. Thanks for the sub, dude. How's it going, Tony? Okay, so down back 3 is actually the stealth buff that people really aren't taking into consideration quite yet. Basically, down back 3-2 is going to realistically be a low high spin attack. But here's the thing: is we don't currently know if down back 3-2 is going to knock down or it's going to cause spin. There are a few moves in the game that are kind of, I don't want to say like multi-state, but there's attacks that do not cause spin, like for instance forward 2-1 here, but don't have properties like in standing attacks. So there is a good chance that down back 3-2 might even knock down. It might be like a pseudo or kind of poor man's hell sweep. The thing that really kind of makes me mad about down back 3, which unfortunately is a real, I don't know, a real pain in the ass, is that they're actually changing down back 3 from +6 to -4. So that means down back 3 by itself will no longer be like a single poke plus advantage. And keep in mind at +6, wall stand 2 is uninterruptible, wall stand 4 is uninterruptible, obviously wall stand 1 is uninterruptible. Wall stand 3 is kind of a whole different story, but yeah, losing this at +6 is huge. Huge. That's a huge change. But since they're making it from +6 to -4, that means presumably down back 3-2, which obviously he doesn't have yet, will be NC. The real question, once again, will be this. Will down back 3-2 cause a spin where they're still standing, where they're going to be in a spin state such that, like if a wall's to my back here, or the Gigas is back, I do this, and we basically get a free wall splat. Or, and this is what actually I think is going to happen, and it might be one hell of a thing, I'm thinking down back 3-2 is actually going to be more like a hell sweep, and it's going to knock down. If down back 3-2 causes knockdown, dude, the world is going to end. I'm just saying, it really is going to be disgusting. I don't think they'll do it for Gigas, but the lack of real changes to this character with the patch notes leads me to believe that down back 3-2 might be some sort of hell sweep. Keep in mind, you can react to this. A keen eye, you play against Gigas enough, you could see it. Down back 2, not so much, but down back 3, there's enough lag time in it that you can see it. But if this is a hell sweep, then it lends itself to, well, what will be the property after the hell sweep? Like for instance, if down back 3-2 causes a hard knockdown, will down forward 1+2 be guaranteed? Sort of like full crouch this. In which case that will be terrifying. Exactly, down forward 1+2 against a hard knockdown or like a flip over, like if you leave them right beside you, will be not only huge damage but unscaled damage because the last hit deals unscaled. And you can see the combo meter, 80%, 17 damage on the last hit. So, if down back 3-2 becomes a hell sweep, like I think it might be, it's going to be disgusting. That will be the new meta, is just trying to guess when he's going to go low. With that being said, offline, it's going to be terrible. Down back 3, once again, is very seeable. There's no doubt about it. It's just personally, I'm mad that down back 3 is going from +6 to -4, even if down back 3-2 will be NC. I don't think it's worth it too much. They should have left this still be +6, and then if you wish to go for the follow-up, it's there. But instead, I don't know. We'll see. Down back 3-2 might be a spin attack, and in which case, NC, it's going to be like technically at least +6 to +12. With, G, they can guard still. But we'll see. How's it going, Skyline? So we'll see. But here's the more important part with down back 3-2, and this is more, a lot of people get it right. So the big difference with down back 3-2 is that it changes his options into launchers. So for instance, down forward 3, 1+2, and let's turn off rage because I don't want to make this seem better than it is. But down forward 3-2 is a 13 frame knee, NCC. So on counter hit, this is guaranteed. But that's the best combo you can get, 62 right now. The problem is down forward 3, 1+2 is launch punishable. Down forward 3, 1+2, 1+2 not only is still launch punishable because it's high, but you don't get anything after it. Like you can't link in any attacks. That wasn't guaranteed. So by just going for down forward 3, 1+2, doing like that sort of meta, it just completely takes away your options to be really scary. But now that down back 3, 1+2 will be a spin move, we can use this information to basically test launchers to make sure they're properly an NC option. So down forward 3, 1+2, down back 3-2 will be a real thing. But, and this is the one that I don't know why people have missed it. If you go into full crouch and do the Ana Hell Sweep, like the big hit, is down back 3 is guaranteed here. CC down back 3 is a real combo. That means he's going to have a low non-counter hit launching option now. That high crushes instantly because you're in full crouch. It's high crush the entire animation. Because currently this is the max damage you can do. So basically full crouch, CC, and 46 damage. It's 46 damage, and this requires you to do a forward CC, which is not easy. Otherwise, you can always do CC up, wall stand 1, down 3-2. But the problem is with down 3-2, the Oki is worse. So that means, yeah, that's going to be a full launcher. Like that's huge. This alone is huge, and going into 2-1 earlier. So 2-1 being plus, -6, where duck jab is now an option. He's going to be like a janky, like Ana. So you're going to do 2-1 duck jab, play chicken, full crouch down forward 2, and that will be a real thing. Into down back 3-2, and then you get like some mid combo into down forward 1+2 unscaled hits. So like I said, down back 3-2 is so good, so good. It's going to be so good. It's not going to be Shaheen good, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be so good. Down back 3-2. Once again, I doubt it will hell sweep, but there's a remote chance that it does simply because they have not said anything about Gigas in his patch list. But yeah, this is basically Ana low, except you just get small combo. On counter hit, they added this in Season 2. It actually gives you a full launcher. But the thing is, this will now be always a proper launcher on natural hit. Like, so good. Let's see here. Yeah, they show it. The thing is, it's during a combo. They don't show if it's going to be on a grounded opponent, if it's going to be a hell sweep, or if it's going to be a spin attack. Presumably, it will be a spin attack, and because, once again, they're going from +6 to -4, it's likely going to be NC. Therefore, at the wall, there's a good chance it's going to cause a wall splat. But, using low-tier characters as an example, Lars back 1 is also a spin attack, and on natural hit doesn't do anything. So there's, Gigas might still get screwed over. Basically, worst case scenario is down back 3-2 is NC, but it does nothing. It just hits. It just hits them, and you're at plus frames. Mid-case scenario would be down back 3-2, cause a spin. Therefore, it's the NC and cause a spin. Therefore, at the wall will be a wall splat. The primo situation would be if down back 3-2 is a hell sweep, and it knocks them down. In which case, down forward 1+2 would be guaranteed. But that's yet to be seen. Can't say that yet. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, the other move that's kind of, I'm not going to talk about this. Sidestep 2 is such a garbage attack. By basically getting rid of pushback, you get maybe a better combo, but it's so not worth talking about. High, it's punishable on block. Homing attack, but the hitbox is so high, it's useless. And because of his size and the basically startup time on it, it's not worth talking about. Sidestep 2 is fucking horrendous. Sidestep 2 is the equivalent of hitting back 1 on accident. You just die. If you hit back 1 and you go against someone who knows what they're doing, you just die because it's launch punishable. It's the same thing with Sidestep 2. They're going to either counter hit, interrupt you, or they're going to duck it. People who don't even know Gigas will duck it just because how wonky the animation is. Okay, and we had talked about 2-1, gold 2 will now be a wall bounce. That will be a huge change. It'll definitely boost his damage. It's still kind of shitty that his air grab, you know, they haven't mentioned it causing a proper wall splat animation. So, you know, gold 2 into like some down forward 2-1 or some like 4-4-3 into high splat and like 2-1 air grab might be the kind of meta. But with how you know, combo scale against airborne opponents, it likely won't be the case. I'm sure something will be optimized. I don't know off the top of my head. But talking about frame data here, basically back 1 plus 2 going from +1 to +4 is huge change. But a lot of people don't realize that this +1 is a caveat of them being in full crouch. So at +1, you know, your jab's uninterruptible. So if they hit like, actually, I'll do it this way, huh? Oops. Back 1 plus 2, not back 2. Okay, so you block it. And I'm sure you guys have seen this. So I'm gonna do wall stand 1. Cool. Evidently, it's not +1 right now. That is wrong data. So basically, the idea is you're in full crouch. The quickest attack you have is 11 frames. You could do full crouch 1, which is 10 frames. But some characters like, what's he called? Lee, Lei have wall stand 3 attacks, which hit on 10. So they have special punishment. But going from +1 to +4 means things like forward 1 plus 2 will be a counter hit, in case you guys haven't seen this. Forward 1 plus 2 on counter hit is a wall carry and a wall splat attack. It's pretty damn good. Standing 3 is a thing. That will trade. That will beat wall stand 4s. Down forward 3, 1 plus 2, like we were talking earlier. If they hit a button, will beat all options because it is 13 frames rather than being 14 frames like standing 3. And forward 1 plus 2, like I had said, hits on 13 as well. So forward 1 plus 2 by itself is pretty good. If they hit any sort of wall stand option, this will beat it. If they stay in full crouch, this down forward 3 will beat it. It's kind of not a great 50-50, but it's a lot better than he currently has. That also kind of lends itself, you know, we're talking about down forward 3, 1 plus 2. But the fact that down forward 3, 1 by itself, once again, is +10 on counter hit. So if you ever confirm that, especially at the wall, it does a grip. But yeah, other than that, with frame changes, wall stand 1 going from +3 to +5 is huge. Similar situation, down 2 will now trade on 15. Forward 1 plus 2 will beat any option that's not a high crush. Standing 3 will beat any option, period. One thing of note, obviously, Gigas doesn't really have the best tracking, so it's a little bit dangerous here. But in the case of where there's a wall limiting your opponent's options, things like down forward 3 and standing 3 become scary. So if you're already in an advantageous position where you're already kind of ahead of the curve, you know, you're basically, it's effectively an I win card. You're so far ahead that you're essentially going to rot the opponent down. But that's only with good wall positioning. You know, they haven't really mentioned any better tracking options, so I'm not holding my breath. You know, there still may be a gig exchange here or there. But as of right now, I think down back 3-2 will be enough to not necessarily get Gigas out of the dumpster, but definitely make him a hell of a lot scarier than he currently is. So once again, a quick refresher on down back 3-2. Yet to be seen. Down back 3-2 almost certainly will be NC. The question is, will it be a standard plus frame? Will it be a spin attack where it works on a standing opponent? Or will it be a knockdown? We'll see. There also, and I should mention it for the very last thing, there is also the remote chance, because when Namco talks about the new moves, they literally don't post anything about it. There is the chance that down back 3, like in parentheses. So if down back 3 misses and the 2 comes out and it's a high, if the 2 is counter hit, it might launch. We don't know. There's a very good chance that that might be the case, simply because of how they balance the game. But that's about it for Gigas. I can't wait to see what down back 3 is going to bring. If it's scenario 1, he's going to be dumpster. If it's scenario 2, he's going to be at least respectable. If it's scenario 3, I would say Gigas will be for sure out of the dumpster. But we'll know in a few days. So that covers Gigas.